For years, my family forced me to babysit every holiday since I don't have kids. But when I became homeless, not one of them helped. Then they dumped their kids at my new place again. So I taught them a lesson they'll never forget. They told me, "You don't have kids, so it doesn't matter." And for years, I believed them. But that one phrase was a lie that stole my life, my peace, and eventually, nearly my home. It utterly gutted me and exposed a brutal truth about my own family. Look, I'm Blake, I'm 31. My life wasn't complicated. 12-hour night shifts at a plastics factory, the smell of melted resin, the steel-toed boots, the constant hum. I'm the middle son, not the golden one, not the loud one. I was the guy who showed up early, who stacked chairs, who got called so reliable. Which, let's be honest, is just code for we can use him. I rented a tiny one-bedroom over a barber shop, packed my meals, ironed my shirts on Sundays. I didn't drink much because Monday always came fast. I liked quiet. I fixed things. If something broke, they called me. If someone needed a ride, they texted. If there was a holiday, I watched the kids. It all began years ago with my sister, Jenna. The first time she tossed me her diaper bag, she just casually said, "You don't have kids, so it doesn't matter." And everyone laughed like it was this adorable, quirky joke. I smiled. That's what I did. But over time, it became a full-blown script. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, every holiday, every birthday that stretched into an entire weekend. My parents' door would open, and then Nate would drop off his 2 toddlers. Jenna would drop off her 3. And just like that, I transformed into a human coat rack with a pulse. "You're so good with them, Blake," my mom would coo. "You've got the patience." And yeah, I guess I did. I could rock a baby with one arm, spoon mashed potatoes with the other. I could untangle a kite string while a 6-year-old grilled me on dinosaurs. I could breathe through a tantrum like it was just bad weather that would eventually pass. But last Christmas, something shifted inside me. I was wiping applesauce off a high chair, my standard holiday role, when Jenna leaned in, all casual. "Hey," she murmured. "We were just saying, you should just plan to do all the holidays. It's just easier. You don't have kids, so it doesn't matter." That's when it happened. Something clicked in my chest. Not a loud snap, just a tiny, chilling switch. I stared at the Christmas tree lights reflecting in the oven door. I looked at my hands, my knuckles raw and cracked from all the overtime. The baby was wailing for a blue cup, not the green one. Nate bumped my shoulder, breezing past. "You're a lifesaver, man." I didn't say a word. I just kept going, loaded the dishwasher, folded tiny sweaters, forced a smile for the photos. But that drive home, the road was empty, the night was cold and quiet, and those words just looped in my head. It doesn't matter. You don't have kids, so it doesn't matter. I'd been the family babysitter since I was 22. It started with, "Just this once," then, "You're so good at this," then, "You're already used to it." Eventually, it wasn't an ask, it was an expectation. No one ever asked what I needed. If I had a shift, you can swap. Needed sleep? You nap when the kids nap. And if I said nothing, they just took it as a yes. Jenna, she was the project manager. Group texts would pop up. "Sunday lunch, 1 p.m. Blake, you'll do kids' table." Always with a winky face, like that made it friendly. Nate, he was the good time dad. Showed up late, left early, and plastered selfies everywhere with "family first" captions. And my parents? They provided the background commentary. "Your sister's got her hands full. Your brother's business is stressful. You're so flexible, Blake. Bless you." God, bless you always felt like a dismissal. 3 summers ago, I was desperate to save for a better apartment. My rent was barely covered by my take-home pay, and my old car needed a new timing belt. So I worked every single overtime shift I could get, stopped buying lunch from the vending machine. Then Jenna called. "Weekend wedding, no kids, please, please," she begged. "We'll be back Sunday morning." "Yes," I said. It was automatic. They dropped them off Friday evening with 2 duffel bags and a detailed list. "Bedtime routines are on the fridge," she chirped. "Love you." By Saturday night, the baby had a fever, and the 3-year-old had vomited all over my couch. I spent 2:30 a.m. on my bathroom floor, washcloth in hand, speaking in a calm voice I didn't even know I possessed. They came back Sunday at noon. Tan lines, tousled hair, huge smiles. "You're the best, Nate," they beamed. They handed me a $25 Starbucks gift card. $25. I told myself, it's fine. Family helps family. I just kept working. But then, out of pure, morbid curiosity, I started adding up the hours. In 1 year, 29 full days, 14 half days, 7 late nights. A total of 412 hours. If I'd been paid even $12 an hour, less than any real sitter, that was $4,944. My savings account that year? $143. $143. Then, the bottom fell out. My building sold, and my new landlord slapped me with a rent increase. $1,350 with only 30 days' notice. My overtime had just been cut. I ran the numbers 6 different ways, but it was useless. I couldn't make it work. I swallowed my pride, a huge, bitter pill, and called Jenna. Hey, I began, my lease is ending. Could I crash for, like a week? Just while I find a new place? She hesitated. Oh, Blake, she sighed. You know we don't have space. The baby's crib is in the office now. Plus, routine, right? Routine. Routine. I called Nate. Man, I wish, he said. But we're mid-kitchen Reno. Dust everywhere. You wouldn't be comfortable. Desperate, I drove to my parents' house. My mom opened the door, a dish towel slung over her shoulder. Your father's napping, she whispered, as if that explained everything. I asked anyway. Just a week. My mom sighed. You're a grown man, Blake. We raised you to be independent. We can't enable you. You'll figure it out. You always do. You'll figure it out. After all the times I figured it out for them, that week, I slept in my car for 2 nights, parked behind the factory, then at a cheap motel that reeked of stale cigarettes. I still went to work. I still kept my mouth shut. On the 3rd day, my supervisor took one look at my face and said, clock out early before you drop. I found a studio through a guy at work. Mold on the bathroom ceiling, but it was $900 with utilities. I moved in with 4 cardboard boxes and a mattress on the floor. On my first night in that tiny, moldy studio, Jenna texted me. Congrats on the new place. By the way, can we drop the kids Saturday? Just brunch, 10 to 2. My eyes burned as I stared at the screen. I typed no, then erased it. I typed I can't, then erased that too. Finally, I typed okay. That brunch Saturday turned into 9:15 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. They even forgot the diaper bag. They strolled back in with iced coffees, and Nate slapped me on the back. You're a rock star, he grinned. I wasn't a rock star. I was just utterly exhausted. The pattern continued. I'd say I had plans. It won't take long, they'd insist. I'd say I needed sleep after a night shift. We'll be quick. Once, I woke to a knock, opened the door, and found 2 kids and a note on a paper plate. Backed by 5. T-checks. No signature, because why sign for what you think you own? The only time anyone ever counted hours was when I asked for help moving a couch into my new place. We can't lift heavy things, Nate said, rubbing his back. My back, man. 10 minutes later, he posted a gym selfie. Deadlifts, 315 pounds. I started writing things down. Date. Drop-off time. Pickup time. Miles driven to the park. Snacks bought. I didn't even know why, not really. Maybe I needed proof I wasn't going crazy, that I wasn't being dramatic. Then, one day, I lost my old apartment key. It fell off my keyring, down between my seat and the console. When I fished it out, it hit me. I'd been carrying that key like a souvenir, a symbol of a life where I still thought, maybe, just maybe, I'd get help if I ever needed it. I sat in my car and laughed. It was not a happy sound. 2 months later, that tiny studio apartment slowly started feeling like home. I bought a secondhand table, hung a cheap curtain. I even changed my phone's vibration for family texts so I could ignore them easier. Then my supervisor offered me weekend overtime. And for the first time in years, I could say, sorry, I'm busy, and actually mean it. But that Saturday, at 8:03 a.m., a text popped up from Jenna. Dropping kids at 10. Pick up after lunch. I typed no. She replied with 3 dots. Then, haha funny. See you at 10 o'clock. My blood ran cold. I put my phone face down and went to make coffee, watching the steam curl. The vibration started, rattling my flimsy table. Dad. Then Mom. Then Nate. Family helps family. Don't be selfish. We all do our part. The same old script. At 10:12 a.m., I heard the heavy footsteps on my stairs. I opened the door before they could even knock again. Jenna stood there, pushing a stroller, diaper bag slung over her shoulder, her smile already halfway past me and into my apartment. Nate, keys still jingling in his ignition downstairs, his kids trailing behind in a chaotic assortment of costumes. A cape, a tutu, a dinosaur tail. Okay, Jenna chirped, all breezy. We'll be back around 2, maybe 3. This brunch has bottomless mimosas. No, I said. Just one word. Her smile evaporated. She blinked. Sorry, I continued, my voice steady. No drop-offs. Not today. Not anymore. Nate finally lumbered up the last step, huffing like he'd climbed Everest. Dude, we're late. Just take them. We'll be quick. I asked for 1 week when I lost my place. I said, my voice dangerously calm. No one had space. Not one night on a couch. Not a blow-up mattress. Nothing. Nate waved a dismissive hand. That was different. How? I challenged. He stammered. Jenna tried to intervene, using that tone. Blake, you love the kids. I do, I agreed. But loving them doesn't mean raising them for free on my days off. The silence that followed was deafening. The kids, a small, confused parade, were lined up behind my doorway. The baby kicked off a tiny sock. I bent down, picked it up, and gently put it back on his foot. Old habits die hard. Then, my mom's voice echoed up the stairwell. She'd come too. Blake, don't make a scene. I'm not. I replied, looking straight at her. I'm setting a boundary. Nate let out a small, mean laugh. A boundary? Where'd you learn that word? Tick-tock. I stepped back just enough so they could see the second-hand table behind me. On it, a single sheet of paper, neatly columns, and a pen. What is this? Jenna squinted. An itemized record, I stated. 2 years. 178 drop-offs. 412 hours. Snacks, diapers, gas. The total at the bottom is calculated at $12 an hour. Less than any sitter in town. I paused, letting it sink in. I'm not asking you to pay it back. But from today forward, if you need childcare, you ask. And we agree on terms. Rates are $18 an hour for 1 kid, $25 for 2, $30 for 3 or more. Overtime after 8 hours. Late fees in 15-minute increments. Payment due on pickup. And if I say no, that's a complete sentence. Nate's jaw dropped. You're charging us? I'm valuing my time, I told him, like you value yours. My mom finally reached the landing. This is ungrateful. After everything we've done for you. I met her gaze. When I asked to stay 1 week, you told me you don't enable grown men. She pressed her lips together. Jenna's plastered smile completely melted. We didn't know it was that serious, she whispered. I called you at 9:14 p.m., I said, my voice unwavering. And again at 9:42. You didn't answer. I sent a text that said I had nowhere to go. You heart-reacted it at 7:02 a.m. the next morning. That was serious. A car honked. A dog barked. The baby started to fuss. I took a deep breath, keeping my voice level. This isn't about payback, I clarified. It's about boundaries. Jenna clutched her diaper bag tighter. So what? You're done with us? No, I stated. I'm done being free labor. You are parents. So parent. Nate finally looked past me, into my tiny apartment, at the mattress on the floor, the single chair, the second-hand table with one leg shimmed by a folded grocery ad. I let him look. He'd never asked to see my life. He'd only ever used it. My mom tried again. But we're family. And I am family too, I retorted. I matter. I stepped away from the door. You can come in and feed them breakfast while you figure out new plans. Or you can take them with you. Either way, they are not staying here today. Nate muttered something under his breath. Jenna's eyes were wet, but it was an angry wet. She played her last card. The kids will be disappointed. I nodded. Kids are resilient. Adults can be too. For a long, frozen second, nobody moved. Then Nate grabbed the dinosaur backpack and slung it over his shoulder. Fine, he grumbled. We'll figure something out. Jenna hesitated, then turned the stroller. My mom didn't say goodbye. Their footsteps faded, down the stairs, shrinking until all I could hear was my own breathing in the doorway. I closed the door quietly. My hand trembled slightly. I made coffee and sat down. The apartment was deafeningly quiet. I just let it be. 10 minutes later, the family group chat exploded. My mom. I can't believe you embarrassed us like that. Nate. Way to make things harder. Jenna. You could have given a heads up. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and slept for 4 hours. Real sleep. The kind without dreams. When I woke up, I had 32 missed messages and a voicemail from Dad that started with "Son" and ended with "Call your mother." I didn't. The next week was a parade of small, vindictive consequences. Jenna posted a vague status about some people forgetting where they come from. Nate called twice, hung up twice, no message. My mom cornered me at the grocery store by the rotisserie chickens. "You always were sensitive," she sniffed. I actually laughed. It sounded normal. At work, I took the weekend overtime. That Saturday night, standing in the hiss and clatter of the factory line, the machine's rhythm steady, I felt something simple and huge, a weekend that belonged entirely to me. I went home aching, but profoundly happy. I ate pasta at midnight, watched a dumb movie, and on Sunday morning, I didn't hear tiny fists banging on my door at 8:05 a.m. I heard nothing. It was beautiful. That Tuesday, Jenna texted me directly. "We need to talk." "Okay," I replied. "My place, Thursday, 6 p.m. She wrote back, "Can't do nights." Saturday, 11 a.m., I countered. "Fine," she typed. She arrived, notebook in hand, looking like she was about to negotiate a raise. No kids, just her. She sat at my rickety table, glanced at the shimmed leg, then finally met my eyes. "We didn't know you were keeping track," she admitted. "I had to," I said. "Otherwise, I was just a feeling. And feelings are easy to argue with. Numbers? Not so much." She nodded slowly. "I want to say I'm sorry," she began, "but I'm also mad." "You can be both," I told her. She exhaled. "You're right about the apartment." I should have said yes. "I'm sorry." "Thank you," I said. I slid the paper across the table. Child care agreement, family. Underneath, rates, boundaries, cancellation, late fees, respect clause, no guilt trips, no sarcasm, no drop-offs without confirmation. She read it twice. "This feels cold," she said, her voice quiet. "It's a contract." "Contracts aren't warm," I explained. "They're clear." She put a finger on the late fees clause. "This part feels petty. This part," I said, "is about me getting my life back." She looked at me then, really looked at me, like she was seeing me for the first time. "How long have you felt used, Blake?" I thought about saying 9 years. Instead, I just said, "A while." She leaned back. "We say, you don't have kids, so it doesn't matter, because we're tired." But it was lazy, and it was cruel. Her eyes welled up. "Do you hate me?" "No," I said softly. "I love you. That's why I'm stopping this." She signed. I signed. We shook hands like strangers. And it felt correct. Nate? He didn't come near my apartment. Instead, he sent a barrage of texts, like firecrackers exploding on my phone. Insane. Selfish. You'll die alone. Followed by some ridiculous cat meme. I didn't respond. He finally called. I let it ring out, then texted, "Happy to talk when you can speak respectfully." He replied, "LOL," which I definitely took as a no. 2 weeks later, Jenna tentatively tested the waters. 2 hours Saturday, paid, of course. I checked my schedule. Yes, 1 to 3. She was on time. She had cash. The kids tore through my living room like tiny tornadoes. When she came back early, I still charged her for the full 2 hours. She just laughed. "Okay, accountant," she said. The following Sunday, Nate tried a surprise drop-off. I didn't open the door. I texted him. Unconfirmed. Not available. He called me 10 times. I simply plugged my phone in another room and made pancakes. I heard later he'd taken them to my parents, called me heartless at the table, and my mom had just nodded. Dad said nothing. Same old. But for me, things were quietly changing. I bought a rail bed frame. I placed my mattress on it like a trophy. I fixed the bathroom fan, and the mold stopped blooming. I started taking walks after my night shift, watching the sky shift from gunmetal gray to soft, clean daylight. No stroller, no sippy cups, just my feet, my breath. The money changed too. One Saturday with Jenna, 2 hours at $25 an hour, covered my bus pass for the month. One extra overtime shift bought all my groceries. The math, suddenly, started to feel like air instead of crushing water. Then I got sick. Nothing dramatic, just a flu that punched me flat. I texted the family chat. Down for the count. Turning my phone off. Do not drop kids here. Someone immediately dropped a laughing emoji. I turned my phone off anyway. I slept. Sweated it out. Woke up starving and made myself toast. It was a small, simple thing. But it was mine. On Easter, I sat in the back row of church. My mom kept looking over her shoulder. Afterward, she approached. You could sit with us, she chided. I like it here, I said. You're breaking your father's heart, she sighed. My dad was in the parking lot, laughing with a friend. He looks fine to me. I countered. She frowned. The old script. I didn't pick it up. In June, Jenna texted. We can't afford camp. Could we do a swap? I help you with your place one weekend, you take the kids the next. I said yes to the swap. Saturday morning, she showed up with a drill and a level. We mounted shelves. We properly fixed the wobbly table leg. We ordered Thai food and ate it sitting on the floor. I miss just being your sister, she confessed. Me too, I replied. We sat in the quiet for a long while. It felt like the first time in years. Nate kept his distance. Occasionally, he'd still fling a comment into the group chat like a rock. Nice that some people think contracts make them better. I didn't answer. My mom kept sending me links to parenting articles, as if I now had 5 kids of my own. My dad, however, started texting me weather updates. Rain Tuesday. I'd reply with a thumbs up. July 4th arrived. Usually, that meant 12 sticky hands, 2 meltdowns, and a sparkler singe on my shirt. This time, I went to the river with 2 guys from the factory. We grilled hot dogs, swatted mosquitoes. I walked home under the fireworks, my street smelling of smoke and summer. I unlocked my door, and nothing cried. I stood in the doorway, letting that simple fact wash over me. Around midnight, my phone buzzed. A text from Jenna. Proud of you. Then, thanks for teaching me how to say no, too. I didn't quite get it until Sunday when she told me she'd said no to some PTA event, and no one died. We laughed. I was still the same person. I still liked quiet. I still wore steel-toed boots and came home smelling like resin. But I wasn't a default setting anymore. In late August, Nate finally initiated contact. Can we meet? He texted. Yes, I replied. My place. Saturday. No kids. And he actually came. Alone. He stood in my doorway, hands shoved in his pockets. He looked older somehow. Tired, in a way that sleep wouldn't fix. He sat down, not touching the agreement on the table, not even glancing at the shelves Jenna and I had mounted. He just looked at me. I was mad, he confessed. I'm still a little mad. Okay, I said. He shifted. I felt judged. I wasn't judging, I corrected him. I was done. He nodded slowly. I didn't let you crash, he admitted. That's on me. He rubbed his jaw, thinking. I didn't even think about it, Blake. That's the worst part. I just assumed you'd be fine. You're always fine. I wasn't. I told him, the words raw. I was scared. I asked for help and got a lecture about independence. His eyes flicked to the contract. You really kept track of 412 hours? Yes. He let out a long breath. You're not going to invoice me, are you? No, I said. I'm not punishing you. I'm protecting me. He leaned back. Jenna said you said something. He fumbled for the words, and I waited. That thing about revenge and closure. This isn't about payback, I repeated. It's about boundaries. He nodded, like he was filing it away. He looked around my little studio apartment. You did all this. Yeah, I said. It's nice. It's enough. We worked out terms. He signed his own copy. He actually read it. When he got to the respect clause, he gave a short, embarrassed smile. I deserve that, he murmured. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. We moved on. As he left, he paused at the door. Hey, he said, for what it's worth. I'm sorry. Thanks, I replied. We're not best friends now. He still makes jokes that land wrong, and I still call him out. My mom still acts like feelings are bills that can be paid with guilt. Dad's still quiet until he's not. But something fundamental shifted. This is what my life looks like now. On Saturdays, I choose. If I agree to babysit, I get paid, and we're on the clock. If I say no, I turn my phone face down and sprawl on my new bed frame like a king. When I work nights, nobody bangs on my door at 8 a.m. expecting free labor. If they try, they leave empty-handed. When I need help, I ask. And when they say, we can't, I hear, we won't. And I plan around that. Not around some fantasy family I wish I had. I keep my notes, not to hold dead over their heads, but to remember what I've learned. My time counts, my sleep counts, my life counts. You don't have kids, so it doesn't matter, was a lie that made their lives easier and mine impossibly small. I don't carry that lie anymore. I don't need grand goodbyes or public speeches. I make my coffee. I lace my boots. I clock in. I clock out. I water the plant Jenna brought over, And I actually laugh at myself for becoming a plant guy. I text my niece a picture of the shelf I put up just for her drawings, and she sends me a purple heart. Sometimes, I still think about that first night I asked for a week and got nothing. It stings if I poke it, so I don't. I let it scar. It's part of the story, but it's not the ending. The ending is simple. I am still Blake. I am still the one who shows up. I just finally show up for myself first. I won't let anyone use my silence as consent ever again. I won't let family be a coupon for free labor. I won't let you don't have kids, so it doesn't matter erase the hours of my life. I'm not angry. I'm not out for payback. I'm calm. My boundaries are boring. They are solid. And that's exactly the point. I'm building something here. A small, steady life that fits me. A place with a door I can lock and unlock because I choose who comes through it. A future where holidays are invitations, not summons. Where love is a verb, and a schedule, and a rate we agree on, not a debt that never ends. I'm done being the background. I'm not the golden child now, either. I'm just a man with a key, a contract, and a quiet apartment that smells like coffee and a little like factory resin. It's not fancy. It's mine. And that, finally, matters.